This is the all-new Honda Pilot. This is Honda's trusty 8-seater SUV, family SUV to be precise, that is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 engine that produces about 280 horsepower as well as 350 Newton meters of torque. This is one of the mechanical differences that we find in this model compared to the previous generation. Other than the engine, we've got a new 10-speed automatic transmission for better fuel economy, as well as an all-wheel drive system that is capable of a little bit of off-roading. In the UAE, we get the Pilot in 3 trim levels, starting with the 2-wheel drive version, which is called the EX. Over here we have the first 4-wheel drive version, which is technically an all-wheel drive version actually, which is called the EXL. And then on top of this one, we've got the final version, which is the Sport, which is also all-wheel drive. However, the main differences between this and the Sport are mainly consisting of different wheels. Over here, we've got the 18-inch alloy wheels, and in the Sport, we've got the 22 inches. Over here, we have a panoramic sunroof, which the Sport does not, and a few subtle differences here and there. But let's talk about the EXL that we have today. First of all, we can start with the exterior. It's a complete change from the previous generation. It's not just a facelift, but the whole body is completely different. So in the front we have the slab of a grille with the giant Honda badge right slap bang in the middle, followed by a lovely headlight design with integrated LED strip for day running lights, as well as LED technology for the beams themselves. The design in the back is more subtle than the cubic design that we used to see in the previous generation, which makes the car look a little bit smaller than what it actually is. Because once you step into the interior, you'll see how spacious the Honda Pilot is. For starters, you've got loads of space over here in the front of the cabin. As a driver, you get loads of space over here, as well as a comfortable seat. Mind you, one thing that it is lacking is the availability of a ventilated seat, which is honestly much needed in this country, because we do find this option available in some other cars of its caliber. But you do get quite a lot of cup holders as well. So we've got 2 cup holders over here. On each doors you've got another 2, so that makes it a total of 6 just in the front row. And when you make your way to the back, you'll find some more cup holders available as well. So in total you get about 14 cup holders in all of the 3 rows. And when it comes to storage compartments, you've got one that is right in front of the passenger, and then you have obviously the glove box. Over here you have this storage as well, which is not small, to be honest. You can fit a poodle in it. And right in the middle of the center console you have this small space for spare chain. Underneath it you have a small pad where you can put some more stuff as well, and right next to it you find a wireless charging pad. The interior is made completely out of white leather, which gives it a luxurious touch and adds to the spacious feeling as well. In the second row of seats you get a couple of things as well. So we spoke about the cup holders, but you also get some AC controls for them as well. And if they are being a little bit naughty, you can lock the controls from the buttons on the dashboard over here. And if that's not enough, in the sunshade storage thingy, if you do this, you have a small mirror over here that lets you look at the kids and then tell them to behave. The middle seat comes down and it turns into this small centered console thingy with 2 cup holders and a small pocket of storage. They get 2 USB-A ports as well, so they can charge their devices. And it's a similar story for the third row, where you can find on both sides 2 cup holders on each side and a charging port, which is a USB type A. But what adds to the practicality of the Honda Pilot is that when you fold down the third row of seats, you get quite a decent spacious area to use as a boot. But if we divert our attention to the front again over here, we get quite a lot of controls. So for starters, you have a small screen in the middle, which we see in all of Honda's models. The screen has quite a lot of controls, and it also supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Mind you, Android Auto is only supported with a cable connection and not a Bluetooth connection, so keep that in mind. And as always, I have to appreciate the fact that the AC controls are actual buttons and knobs over here, instead of them being buried behind a bunch of menus on the touch screen. And underneath them over here, we come to the center console, where again we have those 2 cup holders, but we also take a look at this weird shifter, which isn't actually a shifter, it's just a series of buttons to select gears. Now, it might look daunting at first, but when you start using the car, you start to get used to it, and they are pretty intuitive, to be honest, especially the reverse button. And behind them we find the switch to change between the 7 driving modes that are available in the Honda Pilot, where you can select from Sport, Normal, Eco, Trail, Sand and Tow. As for the way it drives pretty good actually. Well, the fuel economy could be a little bit better, but it is not bad as well. It is about 13 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not bad for an SUV. The steering wheel design is pretty simple, and it doesn't have that many buttons to overwhelm you. They're pretty simple, to be honest. So we start with the active cruise control, which is supported by a radar, of course. All of the traction control buttons are laid out on the right side of the steering wheel, and then on the left you have all the media controls, as well as for the gauge cluster controls in front of you. You do also get paddle shifters, so they are going to be very useful once you go off-roading, so you can choose between whatever gear from the 10 speed that you have. And then you also have the support of Honda's sensing system, which is one of the best safety systems implemented in cars nowadays, in my personal opinion. And the reason why I say that is because it does not interfere a lot with your driving. It does help you, but it does not become an obstacle for driving, like this guy. So for example, I'm gonna activate the lane keeping assist, and I'm just gonna take my hands off of it completely, which you shouldn't do, by the way, but I'm taking it off so I can see it is guiding me through the lane. And then let's say I'm gonna, yeah, so it just gently pulls you back. It does not just violently goes over there. That's why I like it, because it does not interfere a lot with your driving. More or less guides you, as I said. The car is very comfortable on the highway. It's pretty solid, to be honest. The all-wheel drive system makes it more planted on the road as well. And the engine is pretty good as well. I mean, it's got enough power to hold the car around, and if you want to accelerate, you can overtake people as easy as this. So those are my thoughts on the Honda Pilot, but as always, we'd like to know your thoughts, so let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of the car, and what do you think is missing? Do you think it's a suitable car for you or your family? If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, don't forget to subscribe as well, and we will see you in the next episode.